Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I know that whether I wanted it or not, I've gained a reputation regarding the constitutionality of issues. And prior speaker had raised the issue of constitutionality in terms of how we treat employees differently. I will touch briefly on that, and then I do want to go to the underlying bill. Mr. Speaker, the truth is our current systems already treat employees differently in terms of contribution rates, 6.25% into the state employee system and 7.5% of employee pay into the PSER system. Mr. Speaker, I would also offer that when you look at the bill, those longer vesting periods actually make sense in terms of the contribution rates that are that will be required for these new employees. That is perhaps a justification for the difference in the 10 years for the new system, because the way that that investment is structured, it is actually more beneficial to the employee because we're taking less money out of their check for the defined benefit portion. So of course it makes sense that it would take longer to vest that right when you're not losing as much money. Mr. Speaker, it's hard to top the speech that the gentleman from Bedford gave, but that is literally the very same thing that is driving me. For too long, we have sat here in search of the perfect. We've allowed it to be the enemy of good. And in this case, I believe that this, from a realistic standpoint, is a good bill. A good bill that, as a gentleman from Chester County pointed out, will reduce future liabilities. Perhaps it does not save as much from an actuarial standpoint as we would all like. And if I were personally drafting the bill, I would have probably drafted it differently. But the truth is, this is about risk mitigation. This is about shifting the risk away from the taxpayers onto us as individuals, as employees. And I'll speak from the perspective of being a younger family member. I have 3 kids. Someday, I hope that they live in Pennsylvania. However, if this unfunded liability continues to grow, and in my short tenure, it's grown by tens of billions of dollars every year, always because we were in search of the perfect solution. We wanted the perfect bill to fix the pension problem. The truth is, I did vote for Act 120, but never did I once think that that was going to be the final stop on pension reform. It was what we could get at the time in terms of being politically achievable and what the governor was willing to sign. We had an opportunity previously in other sessions under different governors to get different pension proposals put forth. The truth is, we weren't successful at that time, and the political reality dictates that this unfunded liability will continue to grow. I, for one, want to avoid future costs for my kids who I hope that will one day live here. And as a gentleman from Chester County pointed out, and the gentleman from Schuylkill County pointed out, this risk avoidance as we go forward, missing the assumed rate of return by as little as 1%, you're talking tens of billions of dollars over the lifetime of this change. That, Mr. Speaker, is enough for me to vote yes, because I do think that it is a good bill. It limits our future liabilities going forward, and most importantly, it limits the largest cost driver in our budget. For my short tenure here, now 9 years, 9 budgets, I watched Governor Rendell's last year in office. His budget, we put slightly under, $400 million into the pension system. It was a fraction of the overall budget. This year, we will put over $3 billion into that very same system, and it is scheduled to climb twice more. Mr. Speaker, it is time that we cut the top off of that mountain and we start paying the bills, and this is a very good start. I urge a yes vote.